None of these tricks are actually illegal. The honest word is warranty affecting. Some of these will change your coverage if used on a machine still under warranty. All of them work. Here are 8, starting with one that costs nothing. Trick 1. The ECM Throttle Relearn. Your Harley's ECM builds adaptive fuel and throttle maps over time based on your specific riding patterns. After a service, after a cold winter in storage, or simply after months of stop-and-go urban riding, those adaptive maps can drift from optimal settings, producing a rough idle, a hesitant throttle, or a stumble at low RPM that feels like something is wrong with the machine. The ECM Throttle Relearn sequence clears those adaptive maps and forces a fresh recalibration on the next start. The sequence on Milwaukee-Eight and most modern Harley models: ignition off. Turn the key to run position, do not start the machine. With the engine off, twist the throttle to wide open and return to closed. Do this 5 times within 5 seconds. Hold the throttle wide open for 2 seconds on the 5th twist. Turn the ignition off. On your next start, the ECM initializes fresh adaptive tables. Most riders notice a crisper, idle, and cleaner throttle response immediately. This procedure is in Harley's own service documentation. It costs free. It requires no tools. No dealer visit is needed. The reason you have not heard it from your dealer is not conspiracy. It is simply that dealers do not make money explaining free procedures. One clarification the competing videos omit: the ECM Throttle Relearn does not add power. It restores calibration that has drifted from optimal. If your throttle response is clean and your idle is smooth, there is nothing to restore. The gain is recovery, not addition. Trick 2, the Snorkel Delete. The stock Harley air cleaner assembly contains a plastic snorkel, a restriction tube inside the airbox that reduces intake noise by limiting airflow volume. It is a noise management component, not a performance component. It makes the machine quieter at the cost of top-end breathing. Removing it requires a screwdriver, 4 screws, and approximately 5 minutes. The performance effect is improved airflow at higher RPM where the snorkel's restriction is most significant. Real-world dyno results from multiple independent tests show modest top-end gains, typically in the range of 3 to 6 horsepower at peak RPM on a stock machine. That is a meaningful improvement for $0 and no permanent modification. The snorkel is fully reversible. Keep it in your tool bag. If you need to return the machine to stock for any reason, the installation is the removal procedure in reverse. The warranty note: removing the snorkel alone, without additional modifications, is unlikely to affect a warranty claim. It is a minor airflow change on a machine that has been designed with conservative intake restriction. The Snorkel Delete becomes relevant to warranty discussion only if you have also made other intake or exhaust modifications. The Cerakote observation from an experienced rider who has done this modification is worth noting. The air restriction tubes in the stock intake also route oil vapor and unburned fuel from the crankcase ventilation system back through the throttle body. Understanding what those tubes do before removing them completely is worthwhile. The snorkel is the noise restriction in the airbox lid. The crankcase ventilation tubes serve a separate emissions function. Remove the snorkel, leave the crankcase vent tubes in place. Trick 3, the battery disconnect reset. The Milwaukee-Eight and twin cam ECM retains fault codes, readiness monitors, and adaptive parameters in memory. When phantom electrical symptoms appear, a check engine light that appeared once and has not come back, an ABS warning that triggered under unusual conditions and cleared itself, a throttle-by-wire hesitation that developed without obvious cause, a full power-down reset is the first diagnostic step before a dealer visit. The procedure: disconnect the negative battery cable. Wait a minimum of 30 minutes. Reconnect. On restart, every module reinitializes from its base calibration. Stored fault codes that were not active faults are cleared. The readiness monitors reset. Adaptive parameters return to baseline. The honest caveat: this procedure will not fix a fault that has an underlying cause. A check engine light that returns after the reset has a real source that requires diagnosis. The battery disconnect identifies phantom faults, errors that were logged once under unusual conditions and are no longer active, by testing whether they return. What you lose in the reset: radio presets, trip meter data, clock settings, and on some models the immobilizer pairing if not done correctly. The immobilizer pairing concern is the important one. On Harley models with security systems, confirm your PIN code before performing a battery disconnect. If you do not have your PIN documented, get it from your dealer before you need it. Cost, 0. Risk, low if you have your security PIN. The dealer visit this replaces cost $150 to $200 for a module relearn that is often a battery disconnect with a diagnostic scanner connected. Every trick on this list has a specific warranty implication, some minimal, some significant. Section 6 of the 2026 Motorcycle Buyer's Bible covers the dealer interaction specifically for situations where you have performed aftermarket modifications and need to navigate a warranty claim conversation. The prep fee script, the warranty claim documentation approach, and the specific language that protects your position when a dealer suggests modifications caused an unrelated failure. Section 7 has the maintenance documentation checklist, keeping a paper trail of what you have done, and when is the specific protection that makes warranty navigation possible. Link in the description was $97, now $9. Trick 4, the ground cable upgrade. The factory ground cables on Milwaukee-Eight and twin cam Harleys are adequate for the electrical loads those machines were designed around in their original specification. They are not adequate for the electrical loads that accumulated accessories, ECU flashing, and aftermarket lighting create. The symptom of marginal ground cables is not dramatic. Slightly slow cranking on cold starts, marginally dim lights at idle, occasional unexplained fault codes that clear and do not return. The electrical system is working. It is just working at the edge of its tolerance rather than comfortably within it. The upgrade. Replace the factory ground cables with 4-gauge copper cables on the 3 primary ground paths: battery negative to engine block to frame, and battery negative to chassis. Total parts cost is approximately $40 to $60 for cable and connectors from any automotive supply store. The result is measurable. Cranking voltage on cold starts improves. Fault codes that were appearing at the edge of sensor sensitivity clear and do not return. The electrical system gains the headroom to operate confidently rather than marginally. This is the modification the experienced rider in the comment section correctly identified as the one worth doing on the ground cable upgrade list, and he was right to note it specifically. The gains are not horsepower. The gains are reliability and electrical system confidence. Warranty implication: replacing ground cables with larger equivalent cables is not a modification that any warranty claim would trace to. This is a direct upgrade with no documented warranty concern. Trick 5, the Stage 1 kit. The Stage 1 kit, slip-on exhausts, high-flow air cleaner, and ECU tune, is the most commonly discussed Harley performance modification and the one with the largest gap between what it costs at a dealer and what it costs when done correctly yourself. Dealer Stage 1 package, $2,000 to $2,500 typically, parts plus labor plus dealer markup. Same modification done yourself with quality parts, $700 to $900 in parts plus your time. Vance & Hines slip-on mufflers or equivalent, a K&N or Screaming Eagle high-flow air cleaner replacing the stock unit, a Dynojet Power Vision or Vance & Hines fuel pack for the ECU tune. The honest numbers on what this actually produces: the experienced rider with 20 years of mechanical history on these machines notes that real-world gains from a Stage 1 kit, without ported heads, are modest. Expect 5 to 10 horsepower at peak RPM and a noticeable improvement in mid-range torque delivery. The range between 2,000 and 4,000 RPM where street riding actually happens. Claims of 20 horsepower and 18 pound-feet of torque from a Stage 1 alone are not consistent with documented independent dyno results. What Stage 1 does produce that the numbers do not capture is a fundamentally different sound and a throttle response character that makes the machine feel more alive. Many riders describe Stage 1 as the point where their Harley felt complete rather than constrained. That is real and worth the cost, even if the horsepower numbers are modest. The critical point that competing videos consistently omit is that the exhaust and intake modifications must be accompanied by the ECU tune. Installing slip-ons without a tune leans out the air-fuel ratio. Lean conditions produce higher combustion temperatures. Running lean consistently causes heat damage to exhaust valves and piston crowns over time. The tune is not optional. It is the completion of the modification. Warranty implication: Stage 1 with an aftermarket tune modifies the powertrain calibration. Any powertrain warranty claim after Stage 1 will be examined in the context of the modification. This is the most significant warranty consideration on this list. Document what you installed, when, and keep your stock parts. Trick 6. The header wrap. Header wrap thermal tape applied to the exhaust headers is sold as a way to reduce radiated heat from the exhaust system, which lowers the temperature of air entering the intake and reduces the heat the rider experiences from the pipes. The concept is sound. The execution requires a specific caveat that the competing video and the experienced rider in the comment section both document clearly. Header wrap works by retaining heat inside the pipe rather than allowing it to radiate outward. The pipe runs hotter internally. The area around the pipe receives less radiated heat. Under the seat and near the intake, temperatures drop. For the intake, cooler, denser air provides a modest torquey benefit at operating temperature. The caveat: on chrome pipes, header wrap traps moisture against the chrome surface during heat cycles, accelerating corrosion and degrading the chrome finish. If your Harley has chrome exhaust pipes that you care about cosmetically, header wrap will damage them over time. The experienced rider who wrapped his friend's Fat Boy documented this outcome directly. The finish was trashed. Header wrap is appropriate for black or coated exhaust systems where cosmetic degradation is not a concern, or for machines where the pipes will be replaced regardless. The alternative documented by an experienced rider who did this correctly: Cerakote ceramic coating on the header pipes. Cerakote retains heat inside the pipe the same way header wrap does, reducing external radiated heat without trapping moisture against the metal. The result is the same thermal benefit without the chrome degradation. Cerakote application costs more than header wrap tape, but produces a durable finish that does not cause the corrosion problem. The Stage 1 modification and the ECU tune together represent the most common warranty-affecting change Harley owners make. Section 2 of the 2026 Motorcycle Buyer's Bible documents the OEM tire situation. The tires on your new Harley from the factory use a fleet compound that wears significantly faster than the replacement market version of the same tire. That single change, available at your tire shop, improves the machine's behavior more than most owners expect and costs nothing extra beyond the tire replacement you would have done anyway. Section 5 has the specific year recommendations for used Harley purchases with modification history, what to look for on a used machine where Stage 1 has been done, what documentation to request, and which modifications carry forward as assets versus which create future costs. Link in the description. It was $97, now $9. Trick 7. The cylinder deactivation disable. The Milwaukee-Eight touring models include a factory feature called cylinder deactivation. At idle in certain thermal conditions, the rear cylinder shuts down to reduce heat output in stop-and-go traffic. The feature is designed to address the documented heat management challenge of an air-cooled engine sitting in traffic. Some riders disable this feature deliberately because they prefer the consistent two-cylinder idle character, and because the single-cylinder transition is perceptible as a slight vibration change that not everyone prefers. The disable procedure on equipped models, while idling: roll the throttle forward briefly. This is a specific throttle input, not a full twist, and the check engine light will flash confirming the deactivation of the cylinder management feature for that ride cycle. The machine returns to standard operation on the next key cycle. This is not a permanent modification. It is a ride-by-ride choice. There is no warranty implication. There is no mechanical risk. It is a documented feature of the Milwaukee-Eight platform that Harley does not prominently advertise because it acknowledges the underlying heat management limitation the feature was designed to address. The honest context: the cylinder deactivation feature exists because air-cooled engines in stop-and-go traffic in hot weather run hot. Disabling it makes the machine run hotter at idle. In moderate temperatures on moving roads, the distinction is academic. In summer traffic in Phoenix or Houston, the feature is doing real work. Know your riding conditions before making it a habit to disable it. Trick 8. The ECU flash. A full ECU flash with a power vision, Screaming Eagle Pro, or equivalent tuning device rewrites the fuel and ignition maps across the entire operating range. Unlike the Throttle Relearn, which clears adaptive tables, the ECU flash replaces the fundamental calibration with a custom map optimized for your specific combination of exhaust, intake, and riding conditions. On a Milwaukee-Eight 117 with Stage 1 modifications already installed, an optimized ECU flash produces measurable gains across the power curve. The realistic expectation from credible independent dyno results: 10 to 15 horsepower improvement at peak RPM, and meaningful torque improvement in the mid-range compared to the Stage 1 installation without an optimized tune. The numbers the attached script claims, 20 horsepower and 18 pound-feet, are at the high end of what a Stage 1 plus full flash produces on a 1 in 17, and should not be treated as a guaranteed result. The PowerVision device costs approximately $400 to $600 and stays with the machine. Once you have the device, map updates for additional modifications, cams, heads, compression changes do not require a new purchase. This is the legitimate advantage over dealer tuning that charges separately for each map update. The significant caveat: an ECU flash is permanent in the dealer's diagnostic system. Any technician who connects a dealer scan tool to your machine will see that the ECU has been modified. Any powertrain warranty claim will be evaluated with that knowledge. The flash does not automatically void your warranty on unrelated components. A warranty claim for a faulty instrument cluster is not affected by an ECU tune, but a claim for engine damage will be scrutinized through the lens of the modified calibration. Save the stock map before flashing. The PowerVision allows you to store and restore the factory map. If you need warranty work that might be complicated by the tune, the ability to restore the stock map before the dealer connects their scanner is the specific protection that makes the modification manageable.